Welcome to LC Screen Talk. My name is Larry, and this is my review of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. One of Marvel's most famous and beloved superheroes gets yet another big screen adaptation. And when you add in the multitude of animated television shows, this hero has definitely got his worth. And here I am posing with Marvel's current day Spider-Man, Mr. Tom Holland. But this is the first time we've gotten an animated feature film for Spider-Man released into theaters, and I have to say I was super pumped about this film. Of course, when you're dealing with Sony animation, or really Sony period, there needs to be some skepticism. Thus, I wasn't excited upon just hearing about the film, but all I needed was that first trailer and I was convinced. Fully in, rearing, ready, dying for December to get here already so I could see this film. And I have to say, it completely and totally lived up to very lofty expectations. I loved this movie. So, let's go ahead and talk about the positives first. I would be remiss if I talked about anything before I talked about this animation, because it is absolutely stunning. This is not photorealism. This is not trying to emulate like the Pixar beauty of animation. It is forging its own path. So often it was like moving comic book strips up on the screen, done so fluidly, so beautifully. What worked so well here is the fact that it looked like moving comic books, but then it would blend into these other styles to match either the Spider-Man character or to give us new thoughts. It just, it was amazing. I loved everything about the animation. It was beautiful and it was inspiring because this is innovation when it comes to animation. Of course, we can always make things look more real, hyper realistic. I know that's a big trend often, but this is a completely distinct and new style that I think will probably catch on after this film because it's really just spectacular to watch. It's exciting. It was fresh. I just loved everything about the animated style here. And that was all brought together with near perfect execution. And then the creative choices that were taken. I loved having the bams and the woos and all of the different comic book, graphic novel, speech bubbles that popped up, but they were only put in purposefully and consistently, and I loved that. The character design was also stellar. Miles Morales looked wonderful in this film. His character looked just amazing. Kingpin looked fantastic, and I appreciated that when it came to people like Kingpin, we went like full comic book. We went to places that live action can't really go to. Doc Ock looked great. Everybody in this film, the Prowler, everybody looked wonderful. And speaking on that, I do love that they made sure to go places that live action can't really go with the animation style. Because so often, that's the advantage you have when you're doing animated stories, is you can take things to those extremes that live action just simply cannot do. And then we get to the script, which was really, really good. First of all, it was just self-aware enough. It poked fun at the fact that we've seen the Peter Parker story over and over again. And it added in exposition in ways that worked. They were funny. They were woven into the story in really organic, but fun ways. The animation that went along with the exposition was stellar. I didn't mind any of the exposition that took place in this film because it was done well. And then we get to the multiverse, and it worked really, really well here. Weaving in and out of these different places and learning about how this all was going down and working looked great. It worked really well. All of our dialogue was really good. Most all of the jokes landed well. And it holds an emotional punch. The film definitely gets to that full circle moment where you are emotionally invested in our characters and you're hooked by the end, and it gets you right where it wants to. And then we get to this soundtrack. Oh my gosh, the music in this film was amazing. So whether that be the soundtrack itself, the music used within the film, or the score, the new music made for the film, and the themes that were made for this film, oh, it all was so freaking good. Oh, I loved it so much. Action all looked The action set pieces in this film were really fun. They mixed in the humor with like fun, exciting, stake-filled action very well. I really think this film is fantastic. It is a wonderfully crafted, innovative, beautiful animated film. So in saying that, what doesn't the film do all that well? Well, there's not much, if I'm being honest. This film was really well executed. But the problem I had going into the film was a slight problem, but not really that big of a deal. When it comes to Peter Porker, those were the jokes that fell a little bit flat to me. They do get real meta, but those were way slapsticky for what was otherwise a pretty sophisticated script there. And I also think there is a sequence at the end that kind of gets a little bit hard to follow visually. Like, narratively, you know what's happening, you know what's going on, you know why these visuals are happening. But it gets to a point where it's like, whoa, this is a lot to take in visually. And I think that's maybe both a positive and a negative. It never steps outside of the rules it set for itself, but it's a lot to just look at and comprehend while you're watching this action set piece near the end of the film. But honestly, this film is great. It is really, really good. If you are a comic book fan, if you are a Spider-Man fan, you need to see this. Arguably, this is the best Spider-Man film we've ever had that's not afraid to throw punches and have fun with Spider-Man's past with Sony, with those Tobey Maguire films, but never lose sight of creating a strong film on its own. Plus, there is an after credit sequence that you definitely need to stay behind and see. It's a lot of fun. It comes at the very end. There is also a beautiful tribute to Stan Lee, including a wonderful Stan Lee cameo within the film itself. That, of course, was really beautiful. And actually, it really wove into the message of the film very well. You'll definitely want to check that out as well, because it was really well done, and I appreciated that they wove the message of the tribute into the message of the film. And of course, if you're a fan of animation, you need to see this film. Visually, it is so stunning, so innovative, and so beautiful that I think it needs to be seen on the big screen by anyone who appreciates art and animation. I think everyone's gonna love it, down from kids all the way up to the parents. I think this definitely deserves a full price ticket. I actually want to go see it in 3D because there were some sequences within the film that I was like, that looks like it'd be awesome in 3D. I saw it in IMAX, but it wasn't IMAX 3D. So I'm rearing and ready for this to be released so that I can go see it again. Full price ticket all the way. This was a pretty special film, I think. So, that is my review of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead, click like down below and subscribe to the channel so you are always up to date on our latest videos. Also, join in on the discussion. Are you excited to see Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse? Or have you already seen it? I know some overseas audiences have already gotten the chance. If you've seen it, leave your thoughts down below. If you haven't seen it, are you excited for it? And everyone, what is your favorite animated feature film based on a comic book property? Let me know either in the comment section down below, or you can hit me up on Twitter. I love you all so much for your support. Mwah! Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!